It's anything with Southern Surface Cleaning here with Trudi from Panhandle Power Wash Supply. We got a special guest on with us tonight, Layne Kilgore from her company name is Ladies Under Pressure. I think you're from Florida.
No, I'm from Kentucky.
From Kentucky. Oh,
Yes, sir.
my bad. I'm sorry. I thought you was down around Trudy's way. But
Wow.
we're gonna jump in here. Let her give her testimony how she got in the business, where she come from, where she wants her business head to, where she's going, and what it's like to be in. I'm not going to say a male dominated industry, but you
But
know,
it is.
well, I'm
Six,
standing between two
6%,
ladies. I don't want to get my head bashed in over.
6% of the pressure washing
But
industry
anyway,
are ladies.
Do you know what? It's gone up to 10, Trudy.
Woohoo!
well, she's
Yep.
going to tell us what it's like to build a business in a man-dominated industry. I'm just going to say it. I don't want to, because I don't like degrading women or speaking down to them, because y'all just as equal as we are. And I know there's women washers out there that can outwash some of the men out here.
Yeah.
And I'm probably live with two of them right now. I know one of them is because she's a go-getter and trailblazer for the industry.
She is.
But I'm going to kick back, let you talk about yourself for a little bit. I think you have a partner in the industry.
I do. She had an emergency tonight, so she couldn't join us.
We just forgive her and be praying for her and her family and everything. And so, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Layne Kilgore.
Hi,
Let's go,
thank
girl.
you. Gosh, I appreciate you having me on the show. I've been in the business since 2008. And we started our business actually in 2008. And both of us came from very different backgrounds. She had quite a background in, handy business, handy women, type stuff she was working for. An apartment or a housing place. This guy owned a bunch of properties, 200 properties, and she would take care of those properties, from pressure washing to anything handy that you can possibly imagine. She took care of those. And I was just coming out of a job in television, and I'd been in television for I was about 17 years at that point, and I couldn't take it anymore. Television news was driving me nuts, and I just knew there was something better. And in the position I was in, I really didn't see where I could go. And people who think that people in television make a lot of money, they don't, unless they're one of the anchors or something, one of the high up national news anchors. They make money, but local news, they don't make money. So I knew there was something better, and I had just quit that job, and we were actually next door neighbors. And we were talking one day, and we're like, what do you do? And I told her, and she said, what do you do? And she told me, and I said, well, let's put our heads together and start doing this ourselves. And so we did. We had a little S10. We had just a few tools, and we had just the smallest little pressure washer. And we went out and we drummed up some business and kept getting more business and word of mouth and growing, just growing and growing and growing like it does. And here we are 17 years later, And we started out a different name, but about halfway into it, we dropped that name. It was Pink Ladies Home Improvement is what it was. But then we changed it to Ladies Under Pressure to incorporate mostly pressure washing. But then we figured out, well, we were both having neck and back issues. So we had to scale it down just a little bit from all the stuff we were doing. But then we figured out that just doing pressure washing wasn't enough. And B, we live in Kentucky where it is cold most of the time. We don't have the luxury of being Florida, except for lately, where it's mostly warm and you can pressure wash year round. So we pretty much do half and half. So we do a lot of the handy woman business and then pressure washing in the summertime. So that's pretty much where we are. We have two trucks and another vehicle right now. So we're still not very big, and we're going to add maybe one or two more teams in the next year or two. So we're small.
How many folks you got working for you?
There's 5 of us all together right now. So we like the intimacy of it. And I have written a book about the business, about 17 years in the business, and I'm coming at it from the people side of things and how the people are so important. It isn't just about making money.
Right.
It's about the people in the business. From the customers or clients, I call them, that you have, to the other people that you work with in the industry, all of the vendors that you work with, and the different people you have to work, codes, and there's just so many people involved. And I haven't seen anything that really addresses that out there. So I found that gap, and the lady who's writing it with me, she was a paralegal for 40 years. She's absolutely brilliant. And she has been helping me write this book for about 18 months now. And that lady happens to be my sister. So we have a very tight relationship. So it's easier to work with her because I know her so well. She knows me so well. And she's taken all of my crazy ideas, all of my notes that I have around on my desk, and compiled them, made an outline, and we made a book about the year. So I'm very excited about it. It's not out yet, but it's going to be. I'm talking to a publisher tomorrow, and we're going to see what all we need to do to make that happen.
Awesome. I'm going to say hey to a few people here. We've got Clay Smith, McCoon, Christopher Runyon, Marty Howard, Chris Berkner, and Darren Lee's watching. Hey, guys.
Hey.
Hope you're having a good evening. Oh, hey, Zeus. Zeus popped out. Hey, Zeus. This
That's
is
my
Zeus.
baby.
Shane told me to take Roger because he was a protection. I'm like, he's not protection. He'll bark and hide behind me.
So you said you're writing a book about
Yes,
pressure washing, or is it just how you got into it and everything? Just your biography, should say.
Well, no, it's really about helping people through the business from the people side, and we covered everything from self-care to women in the business, you name it, we cover it. What to do with your downtime, and all of the stuff that just involved with it. How to communicate with your customer, because a lot of men have a problem with that. Unfortunately, they are not as gifted at it as some women are. We women have a tendency to communicate better than men. So we talk about that a lot, and the different ways to communicate. And we've even got scripts and, certain things that you can say to develop a relationship with your customers.
Yeah. I know when I go out and price a house or something, I'd rather deal with the wife than the husband sometimes.
Why is that?
It's just the smile, the blue eyes,
smile?
I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, that has a lot to do with it.
He's working for those tips.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
there is that.
So I find, I don't know if you find, but I find it's probably maybe 60 or 70% of the people calling to get work done in residential are the women.
Yes.
Maybe it's higher than that, but just from us, it's a lot. And if anybody has questions, type the questions. We'll read them for you. And I like being a female in the industry. I started full time in 2007. We were doing part time before that, but full time in 2007 we started. And I've had guys come out and they're just like, "Who's helping you? Somebody else coming?" I'm like, "No, I got it." And the women are like, "Oh my gosh, that's awesome! You're doing this." And the men I think they feel intimidated because here comes a 5 foot. Well, I was smaller back then, before the couch incident, but I wear size 4. I'm 5 foot tall. I come out there ready to go.
5 foot tall in heels, probably.
And maybe they're feeling like, oh, well, I'm a big, strong man, and I can't do this, and she's going to do that. So I think maybe that intimidates them a little bit. And I try to tell them about the education and a lot into it. It kind of puts their mind at ease when you talk to them about, the process and the procedure and the chemicals and all that. I think that puts them at ease a little bit. But I find a lot of shock and awe from the homeowners that are male than the females?
We've had a lot of kind of shocking, people are like, really, you're doing it? And, but not as much pushback as I would have thought, even in the beginning. And I think a lot of it has to do with the confidence that you exude. If you walk in there like you know what you're doing, because you do, you're gonna feel, you're gonna put them at ease. And it's all about putting the other person at ease. And that's what really gets you the business, is being able to look them in the eye and then listen to, what their pain points are. I haven't had a whole lot of pushback from men, except the men in the business. Not necessarily the pressure washing business so much, but the handyman side of it. Boy, they steal our signs. They do all kinds of stuff. And that just really irks me. There's no need for that,
No, there's no need in it, but that's everywhere you go.
I
seen
know.
some signs out today, and I took my mother-in-law to the doctor. And there was one right in front of the hospital, and I said, I need to get a sign and put up there. She said, boy, you better get your signs out. It's about that time. I said, I'm putting one up. I said, and come back tomorrow, and it'll be gone. And theirs will still be there.
Right.
And it probably ain't them that's doing it, but,
It's hard to say. We stopped doing that kind of signs in Lexington here where I live, because there's a lot of regulations about that in like all the intersections and, at the beginnings of neighborhoods and stuff like that. So I don't even bother with that. That's just not even my game anymore. Yeah.
I mean, you got to put them out and somebody's going to take them up.
They're too expensive for that. So what's the point,
I got a few left. I'm probably going to put out tomorrow and probably Monday, but they ain't probably about 20 of them left that I had last year, and we're just gonna say we're gonna go down towards the lake and put them out down that way.
Yeah,
we can't put them out here because we're in a tourist trap down here.
Right.
Enforcement won't let us do it. I mean, there are some, but they get pulled, and if they have to tell you a few times, you'll get fined. So
right. Yeah, that's no fun.
So talking about marketing, and you said the yard signs. I know a lot of guys ask about marketing. So, okay, Marty, I'll message you after the show. What works best in Kentucky for marketing?
Well,
good question.
Yeah, I still believe in the low tech stuff more than anything, and people. I think one of the hardest things in this business, in pressure washing and in the handy business, is marketing, because you're small and you have to get known out there. So, and I wrote about this in the book. We have a pretty good section on that, networking with everybody, everybody that network with everybody in the business and in the communities, your doctors, your everybody, talk to everybody. And that right there can be almost enough to keep you filled up, because people say, hey, I need that done, or, she needs that done, or my grandma needs that done. And that's when you have to be ready with your business cards. And so I always carry business cards. And I also have you ever heard of .com? Is it .com? Anyway, it's a new company out that they have your business stuff in a QR code on a watch.
Oh.
And it's great, because then you don't have to carry business cards, and you just tap it on somebody's phone and boom, you've got your information there. And people are freaked out by that. I'm like, open up your phone. And they're like, huh? Open up your phone. And then I tap my thing on there and boom, my information pops up, and they're like, oh, wow, that's really cool. So
they're taking like to your Facebook page and all that stuff.
Yep, takes you straight to, it's like a landing page, and then it has like all of my socials on there, and it has, you can go straight to my website from there, all that stuff. So it's really cool, and it just adds it right into their phone, and then that way they can't say, "Oh, I lost your card,"
Okay, Marty said it's .com.
So is it .com? Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, marketing, a lot of things. Branding for marketing. Branding is important. We have 3 rolling billboards out on the road.
All right.
We're going to go get groceries. We've got a bubble truck with our logo and everything on it. We've got shirts that match. I make pens. I take pens to all the eateries, because all the local eateries, not during tourist season, but when it's not tourist season, I take pens because the waitresses and waiters love them because they lose pens all the time.
Right.
We want them to steal my pens. We want them because it's got our information on it. And I also, I'm big on silent auctions. Like the schools are going to have their fall festival or something. I didn't move and I just got fuzzy, but that's okay. So fall festivals or any festivals, they have silent auctions. Donate a house wash.
Yeah.
The logo is going to be on there. Ask them at the end of it, say, hey, can I get the copy of the names of the people that didn't win? And then you can call them and offer them like $50 off or something.
Right.
They only bid on that because they want that service.
Sure.
So
Yeah,
they're service. Another thing is just like you said, networking. Go with your BBB if they have luncheons or something. Show up there. Find out when the HOAs are having their meeting and bring donuts or bring lunch for them or something, and talk about what you're doing. But the networking face to face is just the most important marketing skill you can have.
It is. It's definitely the most. One of the very first things we did when we got in business was we gave away, I think it was $500, might have been $1,000 worth of painting. And we got so much interest in that. And the ladies that did actually win it, I don't know if it was a good deal for us or not, but we did get a lot of other, interest and had all of their numbers and stuff. So yeah, that is an excellent way. I can't. Door hangers are my number one way, and certainly one of the ways I recommend because they're very low cost. I just ordered a batch from Vistaprint, and they were like, I think it was like $200 for 500 of them, which I think is a pretty good deal. And then you put those out in targeted neighborhoods, and by targeted, I mean the ones you want to work.
I'm trying to unfuzz myself.
Unfuzz yourself? Yes, please, unfuzz yourself.
I don't know. I didn't touch it.
You are blurry. I'm going to text you and tell you, but.
All right. I thought I'm losing my eyesight next.
But there's just.
It don't matter. With them or without them, you're still blurry.
I get a lot of people asking me about marketing because they're like, well, I don't have any money. I can't run ads on Facebook and everything. And I said, then don't. That's not where people are looking for you anyway. No. The people who are looking for you are out in the community. They're in the grocery stores. Drive down the street, and if you see a bunch of dirty driveways, put the So that's one of the best ways you can do it.
It is because I very rarely call somebody off a yard sign. I don't think I've ever called anybody on a yard sign for any service I've needed. And I don't go straight to Google. I don't go to Angie's List. I call my friends and say, hey, do you know who does this? Do you know who does this? Because if they've had experience with them and they did a great job, then I want to use them.
Yeah, or referrals are your best.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been. I've been sitting in on I don't know if y'all have them in Florida or Kentucky, but it's a BNI.
Yeah, pretty nice. Yeah.
And I've been to 2 meetings. Probably going to join the one I've been sitting in on. A couple of them approached me, want a full wash roof, house, driveway, and everything. So that one house is going to pay for my yearly thing. So I mean, if I don't get nothing else out of it, I'm going to chalk it up as it was free.
Do you enjoy that? Do you enjoy the BNI?
Well, I've sat in. This is the second group that I sat in with. The first group, I just really didn't get. I didn't get the vibe.
Right.
It was more like first thing they done was like, this is our membership views, blah 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 blah. It was more like, we just want your money.
Yeah.
And
that's always the feeling I've gotten from BNI.
And this one here went in and sat down, and they didn't even talk anything about money to me or anything. It was more about, we want you to join because we want your business to grow along with you helping our businesses grow for people that's in their group
right
with them. It just felt more family oriented. It didn't feel more like, I want your money and that's it. And which, I mean, I know everybody's out there to make money. It's like I told one of my buddies, I said, we need to come up with a group. We need to create us a group like BNI for contractors and stuff. And
well, that's what I was going to mention next, collaborating with other people in the industry. If you can really start to look at that as not competition. I mean,
Right.
There's enough work for all of us combined. There's
Oh, yeah.
there's so much work out there, and people think, well, there's this competition, but there's not. You all offer something different. You all bring something different to the table. Each person brings something different kind of value. So if you can collaborate and figure out how to share your marketing efforts with another company or two or three, then you're golden. It is really a powerful way to market yourself, especially if someone else, has already got maybe a little bit more money than you do in it right now and can afford to do some paid advertising. It's a great way to just sort of latch onto their coattails. That's one of my favorite ways, is just to really collaborate with people. There's a lot of guys in my town who like call me up. They're like, you got any extra work? Sometimes I'll send it to them. And then I've got this one guy, his name's Zach. He just started his pressure washing business, I don't know, just a couple of years ago. Cute, young kid. And he started out with like all kinds of equipment. He said, he mentioned all this big stuff. I'm like, wow, you must have had some money backing up. He said, yeah, I got a pretty good push to do that. I said, well, you should do well. But he still calls me up and he's like, well, how should I wash this? And how should I do that? And, what would you bid on this? And what would you bid on that? And I happily tell him, even though it's his work, I'm not getting that work, it's his work, happily tell him, share the information, share it, give it generously, freely to anybody who asks. Explain to your customers what you're doing. You
that's
think
right.
Right there. No, they're not going to want to do it. You
They
get
call you.
every little detail of what you're doing. They're not going to want to do it. Even if they know about it, they don't want to do it.
Yeah. They call you, I need my house pressure washed. Vinyl, stucco. You don't put pressure on it.
Right.
So you got to sit them down, you explain to them, Miss Jackson, we ain't going to pressure wash your house. We're going to soft wash your house. We're going to put low pressure on it. I'm going to treat your house like I treat my house. I'm not here to damage your property. I'm here to treat it with the utmost respect because this is your home. This is what you come home to every day. Mm-hmm. This is your main investment in life. And most people, I mean, that's what they work for their whole life, is for this house they live in, and they don't need somebody going out and destroying it and everything. That's kind of what I do when I go out and price houses and stuff. I tell us, you probably get it done cheaper. I'm not going to lie to you. But is that guy insured? If he breaks a window out of your house, is he going to tell you? Mm-hmm. Or you going to have to call him back and keep calling him and calling him and calling him, and he's going to block your number. You're never going to hear from him again. You got to pay to put your window back in your house. Yeah. You pay for the house wash, pay for your window. You're a loss. And, it's like we went and watched the house. It was a new house. Some new siding they coming out with, and it had like a waxy film on it. And they wanted it off. The company said, can't put bleach on it. That's all we had to do. Just soap, water. They said it should come right off. Got out there, $650 house wash. We was in and out in 2 hours and come out. We had to take our time. It's a pretty big house, and had to take our time to get it all off. Y'all come out, he said, well, done a good job. I like it. He said, but now I got some bad news for you. And he opened up his phone. He said, camera number 3 don't work no more.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
So told him, I said, order the camera, send me the bill. No problem. I didn't cover them up. I mean, I'm thinking it's on the eve of the house. It's been raining.
Yeah.
And, but just my thing is $350 camera, $650 house wash, pay my help $100 for the day. I didn't make no money.
You didn't make any money that day, did you?
I bought him lunch and everything. I didn't make no money.
Yeah, well, don't do that again. You won't stay in business too long. Keep doing that.
So the reason I started
knock on wood, that's the only camera that I've ever tore up. But I told them from now on we're gonna start bagging and tagging them.
Right.
So the reason I do the events is I went to the events. I think my first event was 2008, it was the second year we were in business full time. And what I got out of that, the thing I remember most wasn't the classes. It wasn't the speakers. What I got out of that most is the networking. And so I went to, free training, and I've been to the huge and be the PWNA, PWMCA. I've been to all these, throughout the years before I opened Panhandle. And the networking is where I learned my most information, the best information. And not the saying the speakers or the training is bad. I did get something I did take away from that, but just the networking itself, just talking to each other, and we make connections. And Anthony called us one time. He's like, "Hey, I got a gas station down there. I'm not driving all the way down there. Can your guy do it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we'll do that." And we help each other. And locally, if somebody takes on a big job that they can't handle,
Yeah.
I tell my guys, don't turn it down. If you
Right.
if you can bid a big job and you can land it,
Yep.
call us, or we can give you other people that can help you.
Yeah.
Don't turn it
Get
down.
some help on it. Yeah.
So we work together, and we've helped guys, and guys have helped us, because we've had 3 huge condos. I went live on them, but we had a short window we had to do it. So we pulled in 2 different companies to help us.
Yeah.
And we're like, "What do you want to charge us per day? We'll pay you. Let's get this done, knock it out, and get it done with." And guess what? Instead of it taking us 2 weeks or a week, probably a week, we got it done in 3 days.
Right.
So now we've got 4 more days that we can go make money. So don't feel like you're giving your money away, because if you can get more done working together.
You can. You absolutely can.
Yeah. I mean, I was on the dude's job, and he asked me, he said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm washing this service station for you." He said, "I need you to go to Florida." I said, "When?" He said, "Now." And I said, "A little short notice there, homie." He said, "I need to get it done this weekend." And I said, I said, "There's no way I can get down there." I said, "Hold on." I said, "Let me make some phone calls. I got some family down there. I'll get you hooked up." So we
Yeah, that means more to people than you ever realize. And I've had people that I couldn't get to them, or I totally gave it to somebody else, and they remember me and not the somebody else because of that.
Yeah.
So that's how powerful it can be. So you got to be willing to share it. I want to go back to something you said, Anthony, about the home and it being people's homes. That's one of the things that we are focusing on in the book. It's people's homes. It's their intimate spaces. And with a lot of what we do with the handiwork, we go inside to those intimate spaces. We're in these people's private sanctuary. And then the outside of their home is, that's what they show to the world. And so it has to look nice too. I heard something, I found it was interesting. I can't remember the fella's name at your event this past year, Trudi, but he talked about how he was protecting things and covering things up and watering the plants and everything. And he said, so the Karens of the world don't get upset with you. Now,
but there's some Kens out there too, ain't they?
Yeah, and I understand what he was talking about, but I have a different perspective on that.
Yeah, me too.
And that is, that's her home. That is her stuff. And she has a right to get upset if you don't treat it properly. So if she comes out and she tells you this and this and this, say, okay, yes, ma'am. And don't internalize it as her being a negative, harsh Karen. I hate that term anyway. I hate it. I hate it. I find it totally disrespectful to anybody. Yeah, there's a lot of tacky people out there. There's a lot of tacky women out there doing their thing. But if there's somebody trying to protect their flower beds and stuff. So I would like to retract that Karen saying.
Yeah.
And I want to try to get that out there, that's not the way to treat it,
So,
I'm gonna be quiet. Because I'll say it myself.
Well, I get it.
Thank goodness it wasn't me.
Yeah.
So I post on Nextdoor, which is our local little thing.
Yeah.
And it's a funny thing, I did a post today and I put a picture of a flower bed and say, hey, it's that time of the year. call us. I said, we do everything we can do to protect your flower beds and your foliage. I said, but sometimes things happen. So call us, just clean your house spring clean your house before you plant your flowers. I literally just did that today. And it was, that's crazy. But
That's a good idea. I'm gonna do that. So we get off.
I think we do also down here is we've got our local I call them co-contractors because that's what they are. They're not competition to me. They're my co-contractors.
That's a great way to describe it, Trudi. I'm going to use that. I'm going to steal that.
And, we have our own little Facebook group. So if people call me and want to give me a job and I can't do it, I get on the Facebook group and say, hey, is there anybody out there in Milton that can do this job? And I've got 2 guys, and I'm like, here's her number, call them. And we only make sure the group is with people that we know are good, that we trust.
Right.
And people will go on there. It's like all the guys in Pensacola, which is like an hour away. It's like, hey, I'm going to Panhandle. Anybody need anything? I'll pick it up and I'll drive it to you. And these guys are local pressure washers to each other.
Yep.
And they're helping each other, and they're helping them. They're lifting them up, helping them grow. They're growing together.
That's great.
The worst way to get to the top
It'd be
is
selfish.
stepping on everybody else, because guess what? That's going to get you on the bottom really fast.
Yep, it will. And I see a lot of it. I'm on a lot of different groups, and I see a lot of that happening, on people are supposed to be helping other people and they're like, some people will get on there and they'll say, well, how much would you all bid this for? And they get jumped on.
Yeah.
Well, if you're on here, then you shouldn't be in business. And
What
really?
was that? What was that like? Do that again.
It doesn't work that way. I'll tell you what, when we first started, you started in 2007. Is that what you said, Trudi?
Yeah. Full time, yeah.
When we first started, especially as women in this business, there was nothing, no kind of help. So the kind of help, there's almost too much now.
Too much help.
Right.
Almost too much information. Boom, boom, boom. I'm always getting bombarded with this stuff. I love it. I take it all in and I read it, but it's almost too much information, some of it being the wrong information.
Yes.
So, but there was nothing out there.
Mm-hmm.
So people shouldn't be jumping on the other person when they're asking for help. Help them. Just give them.
The thing I hate the worst is like, put it on the search bar. And I'm just like,
oh yeah.
If you have a follow-up question, it's not on the search bar.
Not on the search bar.
So, ask. I'm going to say, welcome everybody. Joshua Beam's here. Champ is here. Lewis is here. Bruce Rodriguez, Marty Howard, Jerm Honcho is here. I almost said Anthony Freeman's here, but we know Darren's here. John Hall, Brad Laney, David Rivas. Hey, David. Marty, yes, I'm going to call you. Message you. Lee Robertson's here. Anthony Freeman's on here a lot. I don't know why. Jason Wise, Alan Wimsey. Sorry if I messed that. Santiago's here. Charles Kennedy, Ryan Gatewood, Frank Freeman, and Devin Van Buren is watching. Hey, guys. And yes, Darren Newsom, I am feeling a lot better. Doctor put me on light duty on Monday, and I overdid it Monday and Tuesday, so Wednesday I was paying for it. So today I did a little bit and sat on the couch more. So I just got to listen to my body and not be a hard-headed workaholic, but that's really hard not to do when that's who you are. But I'm working. I'm trying. And I should be free to get back in the warehouse. Hopefully April 1st is my appointment, and hopefully they release me to get in there and start doing what I love doing.
What's that doctor's name?
You hush. I give you my doctor's name.
Okay, so I've got a good one for you all. Back in September of 2023, I posted a Facebook asking my female contractors, and this are mostly male dominated groups that I'm in, but this one particular one, I think there's 11,000 members of that one. And I asked the women, the female contractors in there, what's your biggest struggle as a woman in the industry? And the post received 450 comments, responses and comments. That's a lot for a group like that. And we came up with a synopsis of the different pros and cons for women in the business, just as a consensus. So, some of the pros are people seek out your services because you're a woman and you stand out in the male-oriented business. So that's another approach that some people take. Women tend to have more patience and finesse for handling difficult customer situations.
And more detailed.
Absolutely.
I agree with that.
Women communicate naturally and think before acting.
Yeah, true that.
Yep. Women set a good example and do the job to the best of their ability.
We do that too.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. That this isn't saying that men don't. This is just the pros. Women get more business from elderly, wealthy female client base who appreciate a woman coming to execute the project.
I could see that.
Yeah, this is just a consensus from the 450 responses. Okay, so don't take it personally, Anthony. These clients feel that the women contractors are more transparent and trustworthy than some of the sketchy male contractors. Women sometimes get work because the company is female owned, and any skepticism fades the more they work with the customer. Because there are skeptics, we've had people test us before, like you can't do that. We prove them wrong.
Yeah, I went to one house. It was a big 2-story house on stilts. I called them stilts, but anyway, you know what I'm talking about. I'm still on the dumb medicine. Anyway, and it was way up in the air, and a huge house, and I pull up, and he's talking to me, and he's all worried about if I knew. So I'm selling myself, and I'm like, hey, I said, I travel the country educating people. So he was expecting my husband to come, but my husband had a different job because we had rain the next day before. We had to catch up. So I went to this one, and he went to the other one, and he goes, oh, so we got the better one then because you teach people how to do this, and he just does it. I'm like, exactly. So you've got to talk to him and make him feel at ease. And I know, like I said, it's like 70% of women call. They call for residential.
Right.
So if there's a woman at home, and there's a big guy there, and he's got to come through the house to get to the big tower or whatever, I think a lot of other people might feel more secure that there's a woman coming in. So like if me and my husband work together and we do have to come do balconies and we go through the house, so we pull the hose up. We never, unless we have to, run a hose through the house. That's the worst thing you can do.
Oh yeah.
Never.
Yeah. So I go through the house, and the ladies they feel more comfortable. They're just still doing whatever they're doing. And I've witnessed this with, when I work with when I'm training the other guys, and they go in, and the women are just kind of like, in the kitchen, When I go in, they're just free, laying on the couch, doing whatever, watching Oprah, whatever, they're just relaxed, and they can feel comfortable with me being in there. But I had my real estate license for a while, and we had to learn this little section about not going in the house alone with a man, because there was a lot of rapes and attacks on. It was probably 10 years ago, 15. I don't know, time flies. Maybe 15 years ago. Where do you remember this, when some real estate agents were getting attacked?
I do. I remember that. Yeah, we actually had a client one time tell us, and we fortunately were able to get out of the situation. He told us that in order to do the work, he was going to have to lock us in the basement in order to do it because of the fumes. He didn't want to come up out of the basement. Well, we're smart. We're both street smart enough to get the heck out of there. But as women, you do really have to watch out for that. Even now, maybe especially now.
Yeah. So I have a question. I don't know if either one can answer you, because I have not crossed state lines. Talk DOT. How do you get out of it so you can cross state lines? Well, Chad, that's from Chad Hub. What are you trying to transport over state lines, and how much are you carrying?
I've never had a DOT problem. Of course, I ain't been across a lot of state lines in my work vehicle. I know I brought it to Florida once down there, but you know, didn't really have nothing on it. Everything was empty. And been to Georgia and watched some. No, been to Tennessee and watched some service stations. I've never been stopped, had any problem with it. I mean, I think if you're in a company truck, you really have to be doing some stupid crap to really get stopped. I mean, they just ain't out there picking on you.
Well, DOT is federal, isn't it? Is DOT federal?
DOT is the Department of Transportation. I don't think it's.
Yeah, well, they have the FDOT, the Florida Department of Transportation. They got the VDOT for Virginia, so I guess it is state.
Do you have to run placards? I mean, that could be some of it if you had to run a placard. That's only over a certain amount, isn't it?
Yeah, it's over 100 gallons.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got Raj here from comment. Hey, Raj. We got Anthony.
Hey, Raj.
Not saying your name because every time you pop on, I am not saying. Anthony, you want to say that name? Chad Hupp is here. Hey, Chad. Chad, sorry. Do you see his name? One of you say it. Come on, Anthony.
I don't see it. I don't see his name.
I don't know.
Mine stops at T.
It's under Raj. I don't know. Now I want to like put it on my phone to see how it's spelled OLOGHOEJEBI.
Oh, I don't see that one.
Okay, we're not saying that.
All right, let's go. Let me go back
to the name.
Let me go back to the male, female in the house thing for just 1 second. And this is for anybody listening, male or female contractor out there listening to this. If a woman of the house calls you, okay, and if there's two women, then this is the same situation. Treat it as if this is the partner of the person calling, okay? If the woman calls you, go into the house and address her first. If a man does happen to come up, you talk to her. You talk to the person who called you first. Whoever you start with is whoever you end with.
Exactly.
Don't make that mistake because you'll lose the client.
So Marty said Alabama's 1,000 pounds, which I think equals out to 100 gallons. Jonathan Crumpton's here. Thomas Stewart's here. Hey, guys. So Layne, what have you found to be your most challenging issue with residential washing?
Most challenging, people expecting it done for nothing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's the biggest thing. They think it's going to be $100 for this big, gigantic mansion of a house.
Well, I can go buy me a pressure washer for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they say that. Well, I'll just get my own pressure washer. I said, go ahead. Have at it. Go for it, You
got to buy a pressure washer. You got to take time out of your family to do it.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest one, and if you're going to argue about price, well, then don't hire somebody to do it,
I mean, you don't go to your dentist office and argue about the price on that,
Yeah.
I think the challenge I have, I don't do heights, but the challenge I have is it was a challenge when we first started. Is I'm there washing. Oh, do you mind spraying off these chairs on the porch? Do you mind doing this?
Extra.
And I was like, oh, okay, I'm here. And then I'm just like, there's an hour wasted on. And then I started saying, I'll give you a price for that as soon as I'm finished here. And they're just like, a price for it? It's like,
yeah, there is a lot of that. And I think that may have more to do with being a woman than a man. I don't think men get that same kind of pushback. Yeah. So that is a big difference right there. Oh, well, you could just take a couple.
While you're here, could you do that? And we're like, okay.
No, I don't say okay anymore.
Yeah,
I used to.
Time I move your furniture, I wash it off, I put it back. That's the front porch.
Yeah.
Okay, we get around the back. Can you do this furniture too? Well, now I got to move it. I got to wash it. Put it back.
But what I do is, if I do see, the poly chairs or whatever on the front porch and they're dirty, and I'm washing the house, and the customer doesn't expect anything extra, I will wash those while I'm there because I don't want to put dirty crap in a clean porch. It's just like I can't sleep at night doing that.
Do you do that, Anthony? Do you do that same thing? Wash the furniture?
That's called going over and beyond.
Yes. Yeah. And then you tell them, hey, we're finished. And by the way, your patio furniture was dirty. I washed that while I was in. Here's my card. Give me a call next year and we'll take care of you. And that's good marketing right there. Yes. But when they come out and they expect it, and it's like, oh, Brian Gatewood said men do get that pushback.
Do they? Okay.
I've been there. I mean, especially you go out to price a house to wash, you price it, and then you're like, okay, who's gonna move all this furniture? You got all this stuff sitting on your porch, your front and back porch. Oh, that ain't in the price. No, it's not in the price.
Yeah, we're not moving.
I'm not a moving company, so if we got to move all this furniture, it's gonna be $800.
Well, if you break that furniture, if you break that glass, you're liable.
Oh, so, they want you to pay for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, Anthony, do you tell them that on the spot before you ever quote it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we tell them everything you don't want to get wet better be off. We've done some for an elderly lady. It's like, I put all my plants. I can't. It's like, all right, I got it. Don't worry about it.
I mean, if like elderly people, they get more love than some 25-year-old that in better health than I am.
They play it.
Hey, here's what it is. I went out and priced a house for a lady. She was an old lady, and my mom, bless my heart, it's coming up to that day too. Tomorrow she'll be gone 4 years. But it was shortly after her passing, and I went and looked at this lady's house. I went, looked at it, went up to her porch. She was sitting there with one of her little old friends, and I told her what it would be, and she was like, I just don't know if I can afford that, honey. I said, that's okay. I said, just call me when you want it washed. I go back to my truck. I put it in reverse. I'm backing out of the driveway. Well, then I stopped. I put it in drive. I pulled back up, walked back up there, and I said, I'm going to wash your house. I'll be back tomorrow to wash your house. She said, I don't have the money to pay you. I said, you ain't got to pay me nothing. I mean, did I get anything out of it?
Yes.
Probably somewhere down the road I did.
Yeah. Good karma's good. I watched that.
I told Trace, I told my wife, I said, I think I got hoodooed. Because the lady sat there and she looked like my mom almost.
Yeah.
And I was in that vulnerable spot. Yeah. And I didn't know if it was something that I just needed to do, or if I just went out and just gave away, $400 or $500 worth of work for nothing.
Well, you followed your heart. I went up to I was talking.
They will play them strings. They know how to pick them guitars.
Well, I was out washing one house, and the neighbor lady. When I'm done, I was talking to her, and the neighbor's house was just gone. And I said, well, here's my card. I said, maybe your neighbor could use it, and I'll give you a discount next time I come out. And she said, honey, she's got stage 4 cancer, and her boyfriend just left her because he didn't want to deal with it. And I'm just like, oh. So I knocked on the door, and I said, hey, I heard you're sick. I'm so sorry. I said, but you shouldn't be breathing all this up. I said, let me wash it for you. And I washed it for her. And then we were talking, and she had all these chickens that she had nowhere to go. So my 6 chickens I promised my husband I would have just turned into 15 real quick. And so, I mean, she couldn't take care of them. And her boyfriend who was taking care of them just left her. So she's like, I did her a favor taking the chickens, and now I'm glad because eggs are $9 a pack. So,
was that where your chickens come from?
Most of them, yeah. Shane said I could only have 6. And then, I mean, if somebody pays you with livestock, I mean, isn't that, you have to take it, right?
I need to get me some eggs.
That's what I thought that was a rule somewhere, written somewhere.
Absolutely. It's called the barter system, and that's what we used to do things on.
I think it would be like that now.
Chickens, I'll give you the milk. It's good.
So it was good. Let me see what.
Hello, Barry. Barry Little's on here watching, and there's one up above him. I ain't gonna try to say that name, Trudi. I'm gonna let you have that one.
That's the one I was telling you about.
Oh, it just now popped up.
Something the Selkirk Vidan.
Yeah, something select Fadan. If we're pronouncing that wrong, you can call one of us and tell us
We
how to
don't
pronounce
usually, okay, Layne thinks we're like focusing on names. We never usually do this. It's just today. We
Okay.
really never do this. It was just, we just go, whatever. So, oh, very little, he's got chickens and goats and horses and donkeys.
Well, he's got everything. He
Oh,
says
my
plants,
goodness.
weeds, and
Pressure
everything.
washing?
Ma'am?
Oh,
Did he trade it for pressure washing? Did he get that livestock for
did
pressure
you
washing?
get all your animals from pressure washing, Barry? Did you get, I mean, I got like 9 chickens for.
They ain't no telling where he got his chickens and goats
I got
from.
9 chickens for
Right?
everyone.
How long ago was that, Trudy, that you got the chickens? Can't have been very long ago.
It was about 4 years ago.
4 years. And you still have all the chickens?
I do. Yep. I do.
She won't let me kill them and cook them when I come down.
Oh. That's a lot of chickens.
They are the fattest chickens.
Yeah.
They eat everything. They eat
So
watermelon, cantaloupe.
I do. In the
Pigs,
summer, I buy them
worms.
watermelons. In the fall, I buy them cabbage and pumpkins. They love pumpkins. And
They eat better than Shane.
How many eggs do they produce?
well, right now they're still confused because they were molting to get rid of their, summer feathers and their, or winter feathers, whatever I don't know in Florida what feathers they have. But they were molting, so they didn't lay. And then they started laying because we had 70-degree weather. And then we had a week where it was on to 20 degrees and 7 inches of snow. I did have a heat lamp on them because my babies aren't going to get cold. And then, so they stopped laying again. And then we got back up to 70-degree weather. Now they just started laying. So I was just like, I don't know. I'm as confused as you are, babies. So.
I mean, you all have what Kentucky weather's like most of the time. Right. Just up and down and all over the place.
Yeah.
That's
She
crazy.
don't. We usually do.
They're either called frizzles or they are, what are the name of the chicken? I've got silkies. Silkies. My last silkie just died, but I hatched some. But sorry, Barry wants fuzzy chicken. So sorry, Layne, you don't see what's going on. So
he's getting fuzzy chickens next, whatever fuzzy chickens are.
Silkies are going to be really soft ones, and the frizzles looks like a silkie with a perm. The hair's all curly. So.
Not much of a chicken farmer. I don't know.
Mine talk to me when I go outside. They all sit on the fence and we talk back and forth, and they follow me all over the place. And I talk to them, hey babies, and they'll come running to me. It's a weird thing. That's what I do on my time off. So.
Well, that probably means you can't ever kill them and eat them then, right?
No. They have names.
Yeah.
There's a rule.
She names everything.
Florida, she does that too. She can't kill her chickens.
No. I had one. She was her thighs were like this. She probably weighed 20 pounds for a dang chicken.
Oh my God.
I got it from the lady that her house, but I guess it's a broiler chicken, so they're supposed to be big.
Yeah.
The meat eating chicken, but she was, oh my gosh, she was the chunkiest chicken. Anyway, she died. Well, I didn't know how old her chickens were, so they only live a certain amount. So I didn't know, but she died. And I tell you what, I can't touch my chickens when they're dead. I freak out. I start like, oh my gosh, they're dying. And then so I have to pull my son off work, and he does it, but he could barely pick her up. He's like, oh my gosh, Mom, it feels like a damn ball, like a bowling ball. So. All right. So anyway,
we went from pressure washing the chickens.
Yeah. Okay. Done talking chickens. So Layne. So anything else you want to discuss while you're here? You talked about your book and marketing and the ladies and what about customers?
Lots of collaboration. I think it's so important to collaborate with your other business folks out there.
Your co-contractors.
Yeah. Your co-contractors. Let's see. Oh, I was going to ask.
Y'all do commercial?
What?
Y'all do commercial?
Sometimes, yeah. We've done mostly residential over the years, but we've done lots of different like gas stations and stuff like that for pressure washing. Yeah, and then some of the commercial other types of work we've done we put in doors for people, and there's not much that we don't do as far as like the handiwork goes. They just remodeled sort of a bathroom vanity thing today. Lisa, she didn't get home till like, I don't know, 7:00 or something. She had to ride around and go see about her brother. But yeah, I don't know where I was going with that.
Commercial. So what equipment do you run? What gallon per minute? What machine? What trailer? You got skids? What equipment do you have?
We've got a boiler. It's 4,200 psi. It's about 180 degrees, so probably about 8 gallons per minute.
Anthony, the chat's working. Sorry, I just found the chat's working.
Oh, okay. What question?
The chat. If you hit chat on the corner, you can see it.
I've had mine on.
This is the first time this worked. I thought you were working on your phone.
I can hit my chat button and turn it off.
Oh, I think my baby's knocking on the door. All right, keep talking. So what equipment do you use, Layne?
I don't even know all the equipment we have. We've got some small pressure washers. I mean, we've got the discs. We've got everything, all the normal things that people have. So.
No. I know we run it's a flatbed. It's got a 5.5 hot box on it with a 5.5 pressure washer pushing it. 8 gallon IGX 800. It's rated about 4,000. I think I usually set it about 2,500, 3,000 pounds, and keep it at that. I mean, if it ain't gonna come clean at that, you probably don't need to be cleaning it.
I thought of the question I was going to ask you, Trudi.
Yeah.
Do you ever have like wives or girlfriends get jealous because you're a female in the mix? Do you ever have them get jealous? No. I mean, Anthony's wife and my husband, they joke all the time. They're like, just like, I mean, we're friends. We've got another guy that him and his fiance, she's like, oh, it's my sister wife. I'm like, well, you handle things in the bedroom, and I handle things out. Like we joke around. I know there's some that portray. There was somebody put their wife on there or a girlfriend, and she was in like a little tank top with a side boob and everything. And I'm just like, what you were doing, dude. I think it's how you portray yourself. Absolutely.
I portray myself as one of the guys. I am one of the guys. I don't wear jewelry, no makeup. I'm just like one of you guys.
Well, I wasn't even talking about with your co-contractors. I was talking about like with your customers and your clients. Like if you go into a situation, I think it may be where we go into people's intimate homes and do so much work and stuff. We've had a lot of that of wives being jealous and girlfriend and girlfriend. One of the girlfriends will be jealous. I'm like, what are you jealous of?
Yeah. No, I've never had that just because, we don't do the maintenance and repairs and everything, handyman stuff. And I go in there and like you said, I talk to the woman if she's there. I communicate with her. Even if the man hired me, I knock on the door, I said, hey, I'm here to pressure wash. And I'm like, oh, hey, over there, I'm Trudi. I'm here to wash. And I think it's how you portray yourself. And I think in your situation, it's different because you're going to be in the house multiple times where I'm there one and done.
Yeah.
I've never had anybody. I've had people ask me because I'm very prominent in the pressure washing industry, and I don't normally go to events without my husband.
Yeah.
I went to the huge last year without him, but I only did that because I was going to be around a bunch of guys and females that I trust. So, not that I don't trust myself, but there's a lot of weird things that can happen in Nashville.
Oh, sure.
So, I just want to make sure that I'm taken care of with somebody that I trust. But I mean, I've never felt that. I've never had that happen to me. And, since 2007 when I started full time, I've never had that.
Yeah.
Anthony,
That's good.
Have you? You made a man jealous?
Yeah. Anthony, have you made somebody jealous? Come on.
Try not to. Probably Shane every once in a while, but that's about it.
He's like, who can have her? Just take her. All he does is work anyway.
No, go in somebody's home, you just keep it professional.
Oh yeah.
And whatever, it's like Trudi asked the question the other day on Facebook, what's the strangest or weirdest thing that you ever seen pressure washing? We were doing that community down there in Montgomery, and there was businesses on the bottom, and then there was apartments on top. This girl comes in, she sees me there working. I mean, she comes right through the courtyard. She goes upstairs, goes through her apartment. Her doors, the sliding doors is right there. No drapes, anything covering up. You see her walk by. She goes back in the back, and then she comes back, and guess what she's got on? Nothing. So I'm like spraying, then I was like, oh shit.
There you go. I mean, yeah.
If you're public, people stupid. They don't care.
No.
I mean, she knew I was there.
Oh.
And why would you want to even do that?
Yeah.
She may have been looking for a paycheck or something, but she wasn't getting mine. So I turned around and started washing somewhere else. And, of course, I'm a happily married man. So, I got to keep things business-like, if you get yourself in a situation, if you put yourself in one,
right.
Yeah,
is one thing. You go into somebody's house, you start hitting on their wife or whatever, blah, blah, blah. My wife says you're a big flirt. I mean, that's me. That's my nature. I've always been that way. I probably will never change. Your honey dear to me, she's my baby, but that's different. Nobody else will ever take her place.
Right.
But if you put yourself in that position, you're looking for trouble.
Yeah.
And if something happens, I mean, Trudi lives in Florida. I mean, she could have some guy walk past there. If she just stands there and goes, oh my God, it's just going to lead to something, Get out of the situation as quick as possible, and don't go in there. Try to get yourself in a situation, because they ain't going to do nothing to leave you trouble. Yeah. I mean, especially you built a business from ground up. I mean, don't take a chance on losing it for 10 minutes.
Right. Sure.
It's not worth it. And then it's just crazy. People's crazy.
And with the social media now, so when I do go to, when I did go to the Huge by myself, I never went out with just one of the guys. I went out with the group.
Right.
So if I went out with one of the guys and we're all sitting there and we're laughing over dinner and somebody took a picture and posted it all over, then I've got some explaining to do, and so does he. But I mean, my husband doesn't care. I could go to any of the pressure washing events by myself. He has no worries about me. But he doesn't worry about me because of just the way life is. And because there's so much out there.
Because you're special.
Yeah.
You're special. It's his job to worry about you. Right?
No, he don't worry about
come home and feed him.
Right. You're the meal ticket.
So anyway, so your book, you're gonna have a publisher look it over and see if they want to. Have you been through the editing stages and everything?
Not with the publisher yet, okay. But that's what we're going to talk about tomorrow, and what all we need to do to put it together, and the artwork on it and everything. So I mean, it's
so
right
it comes
now
out.
single spaced. It is 209 pages. So. Right. There's a lot to it. Lots of good stuff.
209 pages. It'd take me a year to read that book.
I should have been reading instead of stuffing my face with stuff. Anyway.
Whenever you get it going, get it published, let us know.
Oh, I will. I'm hoping to have something by November when you have me speak at your conference.
Yes. And I'll reach out to you. I'm going to get everything locked and loaded next week. I was hoping my voice sounds better. It's kind of muffled and but they just moved everything to the side and put a new spine in my neck. So
I
I
know.
think I'm doing pretty good for having that surgery 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, you look great. You look great. Your scar looks good.
Yeah, I've been keeping it in medicine. I
Nice.
won't have to do a lot for Halloween now. I just,
My advice to you is no matter how long it's been, keep that moisturized constantly. Because it's been 10 years for me, and
Oh, you got one too?
I do. Mine went this way.
Yeah, how many vertebrae did they do?
Two or three. One of the vertebrae was shattered into like 60 pieces.
So how'd that happen?
I think it happened. I was taking a spud bar. You know what a spud bar is? Well, it's big spud bars down to some concrete, digging out the thing at the bottom of a thing. And I think that's
You're
probably
a tough girl, ain't you?
That's probably what did it.
Yeah.
I couldn't feel my arms, so.
Yeah, I got to that. I was like talking. My phone's got a crack in the screen because I'm like, hey, and all of a sudden it goes flying tomorrow. Yeah, so I'm in the hymns now. I'm like, crap.
I know. It's awful.
Yeah,
it's awful.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. You think you got something, all of a sudden it just falls out, and you're like, well, dang. That didn't mean to happen. But
Guys, anybody got any questions? I need to ask them.
I know.
We're at 106:23 in.
Nobody's asking questions. Andy Messer's here and Gary Wood, but we're pretty much done. We're a little 6 over. So, Layne, is there anything you want to tell everybody?
Nope. I'm here to answer any questions anytime anybody has any questions about pressure washing or remodeling business or contracting. I'm an open book. I'm always willing to help people grow and help people get to that next level, whatever you need.
About?
And we did talk about how important networking is. But if you don't have any way to network, find a mentor. Find somebody you can call that's going to give you the advice to help you. Somebody that wants to help you. I've mentored multiple people. I still do. I still have a guy that's like, hey, how much do you bid for this house? I'm like, it's the same size as the other 5 houses I bid for you, but I will still help you and I won't complain, because what's worse than not asking? I mean, what's worse than asking is not asking and messing it up. So I don't ever get upset, and there is no stupid question.
Nope.
Because they don't know and things change, and there's some things, there's a new pump, and I'm like, what is that thing? And they're like, oh, it's been out forever. And I'm like, oh, well, oops, now I asked a dumb question, which is not, because I just hadn't seen it before. So, yeah, if you have no way to mentor, no way to network, find a mentor to help you answer the questions. Go to the events. These events, they are not possible unless you guys are there, which is a weird thing to say because it's a free event. So, but it isn't. There's no way that we could do what we're doing for this event without the contractors there. So you guys make these happen. You guys, the more contractors that show up, the better the event, because the more networking you do, the more you can meet people in your area. It's really hard for me in Florida to mentor somebody in, Nebraska or in, up north, because the prices are different. The weather's different. The concrete's different. Everything's different.
Yep.
So it's best to find a mentor in your area. But that's a good way to meet people, and to meet people in the area is through the events, and hopefully you can find one near you. If not, I have one. I know the PWMCA is happening February, I believe.
Where is it? Where's it going to be located?
Orlando.
Okay.
It's already happened.
Oh, it's already happened to them?
Oh, man.
Oh, I was medicated. I knew it was February.
Yeah, but it's more than just your area, though.
No, it's next week.
Next week. Okay, I thought it hadn't happened.
If anybody needs help with the business, I will more than happily mentor any of you. it doesn't matter what you estimate in your area and this and that. I'll help you, get the business up and running, because it's not easy. It's not easy to run a business. It's a whole other mindset than just working for somebody. So,
and I think the mentorship helps that too, because you don't need to get the AR-45 and the 10 gallon a minute and the Mondo and electric hose reels and the Flow Pro. You don't need that to start. You need to get business. That's how you need to start.
Yep.
So, give somebody your budget, or call one of us and say, hey, I want to start. Here's my budget. And then you can say, okay, well, this is what you need to start with. And then you can grow and put money into your business. Because if you put all the money into your equipment right now, that's where you find them all on Craigslist for sale in 3 months.
If you're going to spend money on anything in the beginning, spend it on education.
Exactly.
True that.
Exactly. So anyway.
No, at the events, we have a lot of people come up and say, I want to build a trailer, and they want a price list of what it's going to cost to build a trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Well, me and Josh, we set them down last year. We're like, well, what do you want on it?
Mm-hmm.
What are you looking to clean? We got to get the information out of them first, what size buildings you think you're going to be washing and all this stuff, blah, 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 blah.
And where?
Probably 3-4 package deals last year altogether.
I mean, like up north in Oregon where I was raised, you don't need a soft wash system in Oregon. You're not going to be able to use it. There's no way you need it up there. You need a pressure washer because it's a moss, it's all that. A soft wash won't do you justice. You need pressure.
Right.
So if you're up north and you are wanting, northwest, and you want equipment, pressure washing. I know soft washing is the coolest thing ever, but you're not going to use it. You're not going to use it. So get to talk to somebody before you go buy equipment, and they can tell you what you need to get started for your budget and save money for marketing. But as you said, Layne, the best marketing's the free ones. Go knock on doors. Go to your local eateries. Talk to people. Go to the fairs. The school functions. Just talk to people, and that's how you're going to get your best business.
Yep. And tell everybody you know to tell everybody you know.
Yeah.
Tell everybody you know and tell everybody you know. I
always tell people we've done subdivision with 11 to 15 houses, and the person that's in charge, they get a free house wash because we give them $50 off for each one they get. And by the end of it, they're like, oh, your house is wash free this year. And guess what? They do it every year. Their neighbors don't know they get their house washed for free. But we give them a cheaper deal because we're there. We don't have to drive from one to the other. They get a better deal when they wash them all together.
Good tip. That's a good tip.
So, all right, guys. So we are going to be working on next week's show. So we'll announce who's going to be on there. But Layne, thank you so much for being here.
Thank
and
you.
I can't wait for your book, and hopefully be ready and you can release it at the event in November.
That'd be cool. That's what I'm working towards.
If you get it, man, Trudi gets copies so we can read it before the event.
Absolutely.
So we can tell everybody they need to buy it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I know.
You better bring
I should go with my downtime. I should have been writing my book that I was talking about doing, but
do it.
I know. Well, I couldn't. Medicine.
That book would have been all messed up.
Oh, it would have been. Oh my gosh. It makes me so absent-minded. I'm just like, can I have that thing you put in this bowl that eats? Like, what is it? Like, oh. But yeah, they've had me medicated, and before they figured out what I had, they were just putting me on different medicines, cortisone shots and steroids, and I will take this, and it's just like I was like, oh my gosh, I feel livid. So yeah, it wouldn't have been a good time to write a book, but what's the title of your book? Do you have it yet?
I don't have a title yet.
Okay, I'm not telling you mine so you don't steal it.
What's yours? Come on, tell me yours. I won't steal it. I promise.
Okay, mine is chlorine is my perfume.
Aha! Oh, I love that. That's good.
I get
That's good.
t-shirts and stickers made already, but I don't have the book. So,
Did you know that I have the little sticker of your little head on my refrigerator downstairs?
Yeah, we put her stickers of her little head all over the place at events sometimes.
Geez.
Yeah, I know. It's great. I love it. All right, y'all.
Yeah,
Thanks
if it
so
gets
much.
released, you better bring about 500 copies.
I'm going to.
Yep.
I plan on it.
All right. Well, you guys have a great night. If Layne, hang on, I'm going to end the stream here.
Okay.
So good night, everybody. See you next Thursday.
Bye.